It's the John Dale Show. Like, share and subscribe.
Howdy folks, John here. It's Thursday the 10th of December 2020 and this little video is going to be about the Pfizer/BioNTech vaccination passport card. Health passports basically. Yes, we're here again and I'm going to keep batting on about it until the greater public actually get off their arses and do something about it. Right, so we like the mainstream media, don't we? Because nobody likes to believe tinfoil hatters or people on YouTube or conspiracy theorists. So let's have a look at this then. This is from the Mail Online and it's from today, and I'm just enlarging my browser so I can interact with it and read it as we go along. Right. TikTok user advertises fake COVID vaccine ID cards for sale for just £5 each in shock video post. And this is by Faith Riddler for the Mail Online, published 10th of December 2020. A TikTok user has advertised fake COVID-19 vaccination cards for sale for just £5 each in a series of shock video posts. Every Briton who receives the coronavirus jab will be handed a record card with a messaging on the front urging recipients to make sure they keep the note in their purse or wallet. Yeah, it's going to end up being present papers, please. They were widely criticised amid a rollout of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine this week, with many fearing they could create a black market in fakes if pubs, theatres and restaurants demand to see them. Number 10 has denied any plans for a UK vaccination passport, but businesses, including the airline Qantas, have already said they will give preferential treatment to anyone who has had the jab and can prove it. No, that's not what the guy who runs or owns Qantas said. He basically said, you're not getting on the plane unless you have the vaccine. Fears of a black market for COVID-19 record cards appear to have been realised already after a TikTok account emerged advertising fake cards for sale for £5 each. Let's just see if this video is going to actually run. So if we try and get that going, here we go.
These vaccine cards. This is what the UK's COVID-19 vaccination cards will look like. Look, I think it's great that we can have cards that show whether you've been vaccinated.
So there you go, that's the advert. Let's just see what goes on then. So yeah, there's a couple of pictures underneath, so we can see that they're basically replications of what the government are supposed to be giving out. So let's see if we can read what it says. It says, make sure you keep this record card in your purse or wallet. For more information on the COVID-19 vaccination or what to do after your vaccination, see NHS UK COVID Summit. I can't read the rest of it. And then on the other photo here we can see name of vaccine, batch number and the date given, and there's number 1 and number 2 there. So the account on TikTok, which appeared last night, which will have been the 9th of December 2020, has posted 2 clips showing off the fake vaccination cards alongside a link to a Shopify page where they could be purchased. The shop has since become unavailable. Images of the card appear to be extremely similar to those given to vaccine recipients, which contain space to detail the name of the vaccine, its batch number, and the date it was injected. There is space for a second date as Pfizer's jab requires 2 vaccinations. However, there appear to be differences in the appearance. Oh, here we go, they're trying to say, look out for fakes. There appears to be differences in the appearance, including the colour of text urging users to keep the record card in their wallet or purse. It's unclear how they were created. Well, what do? Go down a shop, get some business card printable media, double print it at home on an inkjet printer. Ta-da! A spokesman for TikTok confirmed the account was only created last night and has now been permanently banned from the social media platform. In a statement, he said, "These videos have been removed for breaching our community guidelines, which makes clear we do not allow scams or misinformation. including vaccine misinformation, which could cause harm to people on TikTok or the wider public. Downing Street has denied any plans for a UK vaccination passport, with Public Health England confirming on Tuesday that the card is only intended as a record of the vaccination. The agency said patients who get the COVID-19 vaccine will be given a record card. The card details the jab and the appointment date for the second dose. So let's have a look then, see what this one says. Name of vaccine, batch number, date given, number 1, number 2. Don't forget to attend your appointment to have your second one. You will have the best protection after 2 doses. The best protection. Don't forget your COVID-19 vaccination on the front. Make sure you keep the record card in your purse or wallet. For more information, go to the website Immunisation. Enjoy. What's that say there? Something to protect yourself. It looks like enjoy something, protect yourself. So they're already pushing a little bit of emotional blackmail onto us there anyway. Right, let's close this window then so that we can come back to normal screen. Right. Guys, it's getting to the point, isn't it? You know, here's what I think. Now, this is my opinion, this isn't proof or evidence-based. This is my opinion. Now, who in their right mind is going to put on TikTok and not expect to get taken down a video and a profile like that? So obviously they've created the profile knowing it was going to get disposed of, and then out of the blue the mainstream media pick up on it as well. Now what this says to me is it's demonstrating a vulnerability in the ability for people to copy and get forged copies of these crappy cards. So then they're going to want to go, oh, well, we need to get something that's a little bit more secure, don't we? You know, so we'll have to go on to plastic wristbands with QR codes. So that'll be the next thing. Like they've already said before, they want everybody to have a wristband. They'll get printed onto them with a QR code once whoever it is starts running the database and national system. So, I mean, who have we got? We've got the likes of VST Enterprises and V Health Care Passport or whatever they were called. I think it's the same company. They're apparently alongside Onfido or Onfido. They're the leading companies who have invested lots of money into research and development into a database-based system that people effectively just walk up to a shop door and then go beep. This isn't one. This is just a gel wristpad thing so I can compute. But you know, you'll walk up to a door for a shop or your own workplace or wherever it is, and you'll have to present the QR code, or if you present it on your phone screen, go beep. And then you'll have to wait a couple of seconds while it checks to see whether you've had the needle and whether or not you're going to be allowed to be let in. So I think this TikTok video and these cheap jack cards that they've brought out already, I think that they're just trying to push for a reason to go and say, oh, well, we need to make a more secure one, so that eventually when they start coming out with something that's more secure, they can justify it. We've got to fight back against this stuff, people, because like I've said before, there is a fundamental problem at stake here, and that is what I refer to as the reliability of a human. Now, nobody wants to take sick time off work, and there's a lot of people who don't get the luxury of taking sick time off from their job. Like me, for example, I'm a wedding photographer. Wedding photographers don't get sick time. I've never missed a wedding in something like just coming up to 1,600 weddings over the last 23 years. You know, I mean, what would I do if I break a leg or something the day before somebody's wedding? I'd still have to, you know, go in on crutches or something, because I still have to make sure that the job's done, or go through the rigmarole of trying to find somebody to replace me. And over the time, I've never missed anybody's weddings because my reputation's at stake as well. But what's going to end up happening is it's not just going to be about sick time from work. It's going to also be about the reliability of people, because, I mean, like, take my business again, and anybody that works in a supply industry as a sole trader who they don't have the ability, they can't afford to miss a gig. So like we've got with this 14-day, what do you call it, the isolation periods, what would happen, say, if on the Friday afternoon I have to go and perform a COVID swab and it comes back positive in half an hour or whatever the time is, and then it says that I'm positive for COVID-19, and then the government demand that I self-isolate for a fortnight. So then I've got a wedding every single day because it might be in the summer. And then I'm expected to do what? Phone 14 couples up and say, I'm ever so sorry, I've been imprisoned by the government for a phony baloney test that there's nothing wrong with me, it just come up as positive. Here's your money back, and just start handing money back to people until I go bankrupt. Is that what's supposed to happen? But like I've said in other videos, what about you? You know, what about when you want to do something? What about if you've booked a holiday and it's cost you a fortune, and all your family members who also work have had to synchronise time off that's difficult to do because there's a lot of, employers, if you work in small teams of people, you can only afford to have one person take holiday time at a time. Otherwise, there aren't enough people in the workforce to cover. So you've taken a long period of time to synchronise your holiday breaks together. You then spend a fortune booking holidays and flights and accommodation and whatever else that you've got to do, and however much you've spent doing it. And then just before your holiday comes, one or both of you are swabbed and declared as COVID positive, and then you ain't allowed in that airport and you're not allowed on that aeroplane. And you can bet your bottom dollar that insurance companies won't cover you. They're not going to cover people, guys, for COVID things. Because look what happened, right? When the lockdown started, there was pubs and restaurants and hotels. They were all shut immediately, as we know. Everything was shut. And these types of businesses have business interruption insurance policies. And within those business insurance interruption policies, it states about virus outbreaks or health and safety outbreaks, that sort of thing. Now, pubs and owners, landlords, whoever, they started putting claims into their insurance because the government had forced them to shut. And the insurance companies turned round and said, I'm sorry, but this isn't something that's specific to your property or your local area, so you're not covered. So they basically started turning their noses up at all these pubs and hotels and whatnot and refusing to give them a penny after they'd been paying insurance policies for years under the understanding that they'd be covered if anything like this happened. Well, of course, nobody knew that this was going to happen because this sort of lockdown has never happened before. So if you think that your holiday insurance or your wedding insurance or whoever is going to cover you if you come out positive just before your holiday time and now you're not allowed to go on your holiday and all the money's lost, they ain't going to pay you back. You know, wedding insurance companies, I mean, what is it? It's like if you have a 20 grand wedding budget for everything, I think it's about 30 quid, isn't it, or something? It's a tiny little amount of money to insure your wedding against things like suppliers going bust or people not turning up on the day, or the venues going bust, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it won't cover you for infidelity or if you fall out, that sort of thing, because, of course, that's your own fault. But where it's apparent is that they've already said, these insurance companies have already said, that they're not going to cover people for COVID cancelled weddings or COVID problemed supply issues. So if you think they're going to pay out for because you've become COVID positive just before your holiday or just before your wedding, you know, what about if you've spent tens of thousands of pounds planning your wedding and exactly the same thing happens? Nobody can rely on anybody ever again. That's the first problem. But also, it's going to make everybody into paranoid germaphobes because everyone's going to be running around going, stay away from me. Don't come near me with your germs. I can't afford to risk. That's what it'll be. I can't afford to risk becoming ill because of you. That's what it's going to be. And we're all going to end up running around frightened of each other. Nobody can interact with each other. we've got to stop this, guys. We don't need this jab. You know, I mean, there's already been several people who have ended up with Bell's palsy. There's been several people who have already ended up with major anaphylactic shock from it, and it's a good job that I think 2 of them were nurses, and they had EpiPens with them so that they could get rid of the symptoms pretty quick. Otherwise, they might have died. You never know. Anyway, guys, that's this one. Have a look into it. These cheap jack credit card size, business card styled COVID vaccination reminders, it ain't going to be what they think it's going to be, what you think it's going to be about. It's going to be about something wholly different. Anyway, that's all for this one, guys. Thanks very much.